So you told us that you're actually getting ready to make a transition in your career, and
Yes.
you're getting ready to move to North Dakota.
Yes.
So my question is, how do we as students foster a culture that is open to cultural immersion and new ideas?
So I think that when you have a leader, to start any change, you have to have a leader who's open to this change. You have to have a leader who is compassionate and has an open mind, is educated enough to know what a good practice would be to help change people's minds. And they would have to come up with a nice team of people who will inform that person, this is what we're going to try to do. And if it doesn't go well, then you change it. So anybody with an open systems mentality, like open organizations, open mind, and who cares about people, who loves people for who they are, no matter who they are, where they come from, that kind of leader is going to inspire people to trickle down all the different things that you would want to implement. So it starts with the leader first, in my opinion. After that, when you hire people who are going to implement what the leader says about how we're going to implement this, every person who moderates and facilitates has to be that person. Their soul, their energy has to be kind, positive, compassionate, and allow people to be open because they don't judge people. There is a thing in psychology and counseling called motivational interviewing. Motivational interviewing is a way of, they started this to try to help people with drug and alcohol use, because people with drug and alcohol use it was so difficult to help them stop, not only because of the biological disease of addiction, but also because the people, the places, the things, the habits have gotten so ingrained in their lives. So motivational interviewing allowed the counselors to not judge them, to be positive, use kind words, allow them to have their own solution to the problem and help them get there, versus telling them what to do, this is how we're going to do this. So the facilitators will also allow each student and individual to say, you know what, it's going to benefit me to mingle with people who are different from me. It's going to help me in my career. It's going to help me in my interpersonal relationships. Maybe I can date someone of a different race that I always wanted to do. I mean, that's the language of love right there, right? So there's nothing wrong with promoting all the positive benefits of being able to be with other people. The other in psychology is someone who's different from you. Simple as that. But there's so many others in the world. When we have 1 million countries out there, why not embrace what we could learn from every culture? Take the good and we accept the bad. But I always want to highlight taking the good, whether it's the good food or whether it's a good value that people have. If a certain culture has a promotion of education, for example, and a certain culture, all they do is beat down their kids every time they drop a piece of glass, then I'm going to throw out that piece of glass beating down, right? I'm not going to use that in my parenting. I'm going to say, let's promote the kind language. Let's promoting education. So I'm only going to take the good practices from any culture, and I feel like that's going to benefit students to learn from the positivity and the strengths of a culture. The weaknesses you can throw out, because you have a choice, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I feel like when it comes to embodying an open mindset and just looking at different perspectives and cultures and like basically nitpicking the specific things and values within a culture that you feel will be beneficial to you and just embody just good value, I feel like that really is the next level that we need to take in society in general, honestly, when it comes to being able to interact with different people and having different perspectives. Because I feel like it's very easy for people who are in secluded groups, which we see often on this campus, really they don't have the ability to expand beyond, and they don't really see the importance of nitpicking and taking from different pieces of society, because there's always something that you can learn and gain from a different perspective.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that really is a point of emphasis that we need to make sure that, as college students, we're always aware and we're being, we're giving acknowledgement to differences, because differences and polarization really is where we have space to grow.
That's true. So taking out the positive and benefiting from what's going to help individuals and the communities is really the key, because we can always focus on the negative and then it's not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to be staying in your room depressed and maybe drink alcohol and, not go to class. And you're just going to be stuck in the cycle of being stuck in the lack of positive thinking about what you can do about the situation versus what life feels like, because you're not helping to change the situation just by being who you are. It's when Michael Jackson, he had that song of, you want to look at yourself in the mirror and you want to be the change that you see in the world, right? We have to work on us first. And if we can say that we're going to have an open mind and we're going to use kind language to be open to other people, then I think there is so much room for growth, and I don't think there are going to be any barriers, because people are going to congregate towards positive energy, and they're going to appreciate the kind of spirit that you bring into the energy that you bring to, an individual, shared space.
So, Karina, as we move to wrap up the show, I have one question for you. So, what do you think what pieces of advice can you give to us in reference to what we can do on campus?
You can definitely promote what you believe is helpful, which is, it seems like both of you are very open-minded to having this intersectionality, commingling, understanding each other, having an open mind, being humble, and learning about other people to create a positive environment in the college community campus. So you can be leaders in your own right to promote this by being involved in activities and asking your administrators to have activities that you can plan to say, these are the suggestions we have to allow people to be able to know each other better and to work together a lot better. And so if you can be part of that process, I believe that there's a lot of change that could happen, because it has to come from peers, people who look like them and people who are their age group. And it's going to be more inspiring coming from you guys than just adults, right? And if you have people who are professors or professionals to support you, that's what you would need. But at the base of it, I would definitely, as individuals, continue to get open-minded experiences, keep doing the study abroads, keep going to trainings, go to other different clubs, and other all kinds of activities that go on in this campus. I remember when I was an undergraduate and a graduate student, I always took advantage of every single talk that I could go to, because they were free. And they had wonderful world-class speakers and professors and people who did so much research. And then we had students, we had all kinds of groups doing, shows. I loved all the talent shows and the fashion shows. I embraced going to anything that I could go to, because I was not only curious, but I loved them. They had so much fun, and there was food, and I got to eat all kinds of food, and I got to mingle with people who were different from me. But I learned, at the end of the day, I learned more about someone else other than myself. So that's what I would do.
I just want to thank Ms. Pereira and Ms. Kim for being on our show. This has been a Community of Scholars.